Hey guys, welcome to Johnny Flores Horses. I'm Johnny Flores, and we're going to be doing pattern talk, where we'll be going over a course that I just recently designed for an EXCA that I also judged, and we're going to be going over it with some judges' perspective, a little bit of training tips, and really try to get a lot of meat on there for you guys. Hopefully it'll help you answer some questions. And before we go, this is Nora, my amazing lap dog. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so this is the gate. It's on the floor. It's supposed to demonstrate that I can deal with my horse on and off of him through things, and he won't be a nuisance, he won't be a hindrance. I had to pull him a little bit to get through the gate, but the next part where he's just standing there, he looks like he's ready to take a nap. Looks really good. I like all of that. As a judge, it wasn't amazing. I still had to kind of pull him, maybe a 6.5, because the second part was good. This next obstacle though, watch carefully. This addresses a common problem we all deal with across disciplines: ranch riding, reining, cow horse, EXCA, and it's stopping short of the turn. So this is a 270. That lead departure is a little funky. We gotta fix that. That's a deduction. But it's supposed to make him turn 3/4 of a turn instead of half a turn. And a lot of horses will jump out at that 3/4 mark. And right here too, he stopped a little hard. He's new to his sliders, and I really should break him to sliding more, because that shows a lack of preparedness on my part, which is true. I'm trying to take it very light on him, but as a judge, I don't want to see that. I want to see a horse that knows how to stop, is comfortable stopping, is comfortable doing each maneuver. This next obstacle is a side pass. I really like this one. It really demonstrates very true ranch horse. You know, trees, they don't care. They'll hit you in the face, they'll leave scratches on your legs. And if he could side pass with these noodles brushing his nose and keep pace, which he did very nicely, it demonstrates that he'll listen to you. All right, here he had a good stop, but he gaped a tiny bit. I think I could work on softening him up and maybe using a little bit more of the bosalita. Maybe even work on accepting some of the pulls better, because that is a deduction, and it is something I really watch for as a judge. Now the water carry, very simple. This lead change right here, he botches it, but he fixes it. So as a trainer, good, he knows what he should be doing, but as a judge, bad, he botched it and he held it there for a bit. So that might even be half a point off for the obstacle right there. I also wanted to slow him down without sliding 8 feet into the water carry, because it helps him, and I'm kind of meeting him in the middle. He's having trouble on his slides, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. You're having trouble. Let's just rate. And it shows a degree of horsemanship on my part. The next part, the lead changes, and these lead changes are utterly terrible. Not at all my best work. I have to work on that a lot. As a judge, maybe a 3. That was just approach and departure was it, and something of a try. A lot of lead change and then walk after to keep him a little calmer would probably help. Now this is the setting up the rope. I have to go around the dial down 1 full revolution at a consistent pace. I realized that the lope, I can't do it, so I broke to a trot. And that's a good note for anyone watching. You can't do something at a lope, do it at a trot. You're rewarded on the consistency more than just going. I'm trying to do it fast. Now you'll notice I cut because I kept missing my rope. I could swear that barrel was moving. Right there, he threw his head and he kind of shied from the bridle. Poor horsemanship on my part. I have to work on that. And I have to work on getting him to frame up. He's not quite as upward as I'd like him to be. I'd like his butt to be more in and under and his shoulders picked up. If you notice, he's very much like the way a motorcycle leans into turns, and I don't quite like that, but he is balanced enough to do it and still look pretty. And this obstacle combines both the dial down, which is very hard, and the rope handling skills of Calgary this and last year to really create a good, nice, difficult obstacle. Now this next one is a bridge, specifically designed to help a horse break down. Notice right here, I'm not centered. I was off to the left, or you guys to the left. So I gotta work on centering more, maybe give myself room. There's something to be said about setting up really far away. I think of fighter jet games where you have your crosshairs and then they line up and you can shoot and you have the plane in your crosshairs. I think of that. If I could set up from really far, all I have to worry about is just keeping him there versus setting up right when I'm on the obstacle. Now this one, he lost his bell boot right there, and the rate was okay. The bridge, that narrow bridge sucked. It was utterly horrible, but the first half was pretty good, so maybe a 4.5 I think would be appropriate for him. And notice also he kicked his bell boot off. Always wear boots when you're in EXCA, or really any discipline of showing. because it's better that a horse kicks off his boot than kicks off some hair or skin off of his feet. That jump was okay. I should work on more on my jumping technique. And he kind of ran past the bridle a little bit and was like, ah! And I could probably jump and then rake him down and do that more in practice. And he was again scared of that cowhide, which I think is funny because he's scared of cowhides, but he loves cattle. I don't understand him. Next part is the maypoles. I took this from the mini maypoles that Chris Redden did at Worlds this last year. There is one that's a pretty normal, even height. I can grab it comfortably. There's one that's short and one that's tall. And ideally, I'll have to kind of lean and disturb my seat to grab each one. Now notice how I'm staying there because I can't grab it and I can't quite reach. Your revolutions generally start when you actually grab the maypole, so talk to your judge about it. And also, his lead changes were good. He's sort of throwing himself into them, which I don't quite like. And, you know, there are going to be deductions because you're sitting there and you're loping around without actually doing the obstacle. And another thing too, notice his head is going like that the whole time. You want to see a horse that keeps his head either here or here, but stays there. A nice picture that stays rather still, but he's bobbing it. And that doesn't quite show a good degree of control or listening to the bridle. This is my free ride. It's a really short one. I don't like to stress running like crazy in my courses. I like to stress technique and really challenge the accuracy of the rider. You know, Craig Cameron always said it's kamikaze speed with surgical precision. And I think sometimes because it's really fun, we miss out on the precision. So that rate, it wasn't very good. He didn't really like melt into my hands. So I should work on that more. That will be a penalty because he kind of lifted his head and braced at the bridle a little bit and sort of gaped a tiny bit. Not a huge penalty. It's just not really good. The approach, because the rate was the approach was just very bad. His backups suck. They've always been slow, but that's okay. He's doing it consistent. What I don't want to see is a horse that like 1 step, 2 step, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they break that cadence. I want that even cadence. So yeah, he's slow, but he's doing it correctly and he's doing it consistently. And I had to ring my bell for finish.